And welcome back to Crypto Hulk. This is the member show. This is the member show. I just completed right now the open show. Let me grab some water. Oh my god, I need the ice water. All right. We're going over central bank digital currencies, and I'll just give a disclaimer real quick, and we'll start in on this because we got a lot of work, man. I'm telling you. But just take notes. Because there's a lot of information. My name is Crypto Hulk. I'm not a financial advisor. This whole show is a complete lie. If I ever give financial advice, do not follow it. If you think I'm ever giving you illegal advice, do not listen to it. What I'm trying to do is show you what not to do. All right. Crypto Cat is back. Here we go. I told you. We got a lot of whole lot of stuff. Okay, now we're still on page 8. We're going over the future of money. We're going over how are the governments going to utilize cryptos and stuff. Are they going to outlaw all cryptos? Are they going to join with crypto companies? We'll find out sooner or later in here. Still on page 8. The title of this one is CBDC, retail or wholesale. The banks of the globe today don't have a central bank they trust, so they have a network of inefficient correspondent banks to go through. It's called SWIFT. So one of the problems, Heather Hatley, thanks for your donation, channel. You're learning a lot. So what we got going, let me fold this paper, is all these banks in the world. Imagine you have like Chinese banks, Vietnamese banks, Russian banks. Everybody's trying to trade with each other, but American business doesn't want Russian rubles, and the Mexicans don't want the ruble, and this person. So it makes it tough. So we have to go through all these different correspondent banks. It takes long periods of time, sometimes 3 days, to send money. You could actually get a briefcase, hop on an airplane in today's world and fly money faster than it would be to send it through the correspondent banking system. Takes forever. So that's what this crypto is going to eventually replace. Okay. It's going to be a token-based CBDC, cryptocurrency private. So there's going to be private currency running on. Well, we already know that Ripple has a private ledger. I think what that is, and I could be wrong, but I think they're testing it. But they could also run the XRP. Maybe. Okay, now look, the World Wide Web has the XRP ledger. Okay, the World Wide Web Consortium, same people that run the internet, own the XRP ledger. Ripple gave that to the world. Okay, Ripple does not own the ledger. Now they have a private one. Okay, that's what we believe the wholesale is going to run on that. So not everybody's going to be able to see what's going on. The ledger that the XRP ledger that the World Wide Web Consortium has, that one, everything's going to run on that they want public. Okay. I'm not going to get into a whole separate show discussing the private ledger and all that. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't know a lot about it, and they purposely keep it like that. Okay. So we don't know a lot about it. On page 9, they start getting into something called token-based CBDC. And in parentheses, I have cryptocurrency private. Token-based, retail or wholesale is said to be held by the owner in digital wallets, like us, okay? So there is some understanding that there's going to be a thing called digital wallets. We have them now. A lot of the question now is, will the central bank issue people digital wallets, or can people use private wallets? This was not discussed. It's going to be a country's choice. So if you live in a country where they're like telling you what to do all the time, you're probably going to have a wallet issued by your government. Okay. Nasi Lamak. It says here, private wallets obviously creates greater anonymity. So they're just kind of talking where some of your stuff might be private. There was even talk that low volume transmissions, low volume transactions will allow to be more private, whereas big money, like right now, if you go in to buy a car and you put $10,000 or more down, they have to notify Homeland Security, okay? And the IRS kind of stuff, right? So if you don't, then nobody's going to notify anybody. So they don't get into specifics. B, thanks for your donation to the channel. Tuition payment to keep school in session. Thanks, Hulk. I really appreciate that. This is a lot. Like, this is, I already know when I do something like this, a lot of people aren't going to want to watch a show like this. I don't care. So I know I'm going to take a major hit on certain things. What I'm trying to do is for those that are serious, that want to know exactly how the world's going to go, this show is for you. All right. So this is not the popularity one. This is the let's dig in and get some work done. And you will know exactly. You got to take notes on the stuff. There's too much to remember. You're going to forget like 90% of it. So I definitely suggest taking notes. It's just like school, but this is your future. You want to know exactly what's going to happen. I'm showing you now. Most channels will not do anything like this because it takes a tremendous amount of time and patience. And then it's just, some people are like, oh, I just want to watch for 10 minutes. And look, knowledge is an investment. If you don't spend the time to learn, you're not investing in yourself. And it's the same motherfuckers that'll be like, oh, Crypto Hulk, what they're saying this, they're saying, well, you didn't watch my fucking show. Okay. So quit trying to bitch and get the quick answers for shit. Watch the fucking program, educate yourself like an adult, and then when all this shit talking goes on the internet, you're not concerned because Crypto Hulk taught you everything you need to know. That's why I'm going through all this. It's a ton of work. Hello, Hunar. Hunar decided to show up to the second show. Scott Hansen says, I'm serious, Hulk. Garlic naan, I love it. Lamb korma. Oh my God, I'm going over to Mr. Mister's house to eat. All right, I gotta focus. Focus. Token-based CBDC is for the most widely accepted customer base. This would increase the risk for illicit activity like we have had with physical cash for 5,000 years or more. Now, what I'm doing is I'm reading off not what they're saying. Some of the stuff is from what they're saying, and some of what I'm reading here is my interpretation. What they're talking about is retail more than likely would have more anonymity. Okay, I'm just going by what they say. I'm not here to argue the point where no, they're not. They're gonna know everything. I'm not getting into all that dumb shit. I'm just teaching you what the report says. If you know more than a report, great. Make your own show. So what they're saying is that some of the retail is going to be like really anonymous. It's kind of like it's going to be like right now. The banks, like, okay, in order for the government right now to know what I'm buying and selling and shit, they got to get a court order, go to like Bank of America, get into the, you see what I'm saying? So that's gonna, now if I go buy something over $10,000 right now, then they have to notify government. So basically right now it's kind of like private. That's kind of what they're talking about here. Nothing drastically different, although it could, if the government wanted to do something where the government could set up its own bank accounts and know everything you do all the time. I think that'll come later on. So for right now, I'm just talking about what they're talking about. for retail customers, they're not going to be like watching everything you buy and everything right now. They're trying to get this off the ground. They need a buy-in. They need you to buy in. If they scare everybody and tell us the end game that they're going to watch everything, people are like, nope, we ain't doing it. So they're going to try to trick you, all right? Token-based CBDC for wallet holders who are non-identified is suitable to small value transactions. So that's what they're doing, is they're going to have for small transactions, no one's going to really know that. The government's not going to know. They're going to have to go to that crypto company. Now, there's some talk later about are small private crypto companies going to have their own stable coins and da-da-da-da. A lot of that will be yes. But it's going to have to be held in central banks' reserves. We'll get into some of that later. So that's kind of where this is going. I don't want to get into that too much. I want to stay on this. So token-based CBDCs for wallet holders who are non-identified. So now I'm starting to understand they're going to have wallets that are identifiable and then non-identifiable. And I think that just means the government will issue certain wallets. Those are the identified wallets. And then banks will issue non-identifying wallets unless the government wants to come in with a court order and look at it, okay? It's almost the same as kind of how we have it set up right now. Still looks like we're on page 9. Countries can determine to have a retail CBDC with no anti-money laundering, no KYC, and also have a larger wholesale CBDC with AML and KYC. Now we're working on page 10. Actually, we're moving along. What is innovative about CBDC? What is so revolutionary about CBDC? Why have central bank accounts for retail or foreign institutions? It says here, cross-border wholesale CBDC not been developed yet. They're thinking about having a central bank accounts for retail people like you and me. That's a possibility. Transaction verification. So they have to. Now we're still on page 10. Let me go over to this. The Bitcoin network was the first to solve the double spend or counterfeit issue, okay, by using nodes instead of a central authority. That's all good. Later, though, in the article, they do kind of admit that they didn't actually solve the double spend, because if Bitcoin, so here's where they're kind of showing us where Bitcoin's not it. So if you're a Bitcoin maxi and you think, oh yeah, it's the world's money, it's not the world's money, because they're kind of saying it right here. They're not actually telling us, but if you read in between the lines what they're saying, Bitcoin's not it. Somebody better tell Michael Saylor, okay? And all the Bitcoin maxis. Because when Bitcoin, if a company wants to hack a 51% of Bitcoin, they can do it if they want. It's going to be expensive, but nonetheless, they can do it and then turn back and undo transactions. So hypothetically, if someone has a quantum computer, they can get into Bitcoin, overtake the miners, and turn back all the transactions that have ever been done. Technically, is that possible? Yes. Okay. So that's why they're showing us here. See, if it was an XRP ledger type deal, you can't do that because you have nodes, and 80% of these nodes have to agree. That means you'd have to locate where all these nodes are in the world and hack 80% of their computers. See what I'm saying? So it makes it like a lot different now. So Bitcoin, it basically tells us Bitcoin's not the one. We're still on page 10. For a CBDC, central banks can act as nodes to validate transactions. So now, if the banks of the world all want to make CBDCs, then they can validate their own transactions. Nodes could be the banks and many others to make it a truly decentralized ledger. Who will be validating CBDC's transactions? That's kind of an interesting one too. So, like with the way Ripple's set up, they pick the nodes have an option of increasing more nodes as needed. See, the XRP ledger doesn't belong to Ripple anymore. So that's why it's decentralized, okay? And nodes determine what transactions get processed. If they need more nodes because the world's totally using XRP ledger more, then they have to vote on it and increase the nodes. Then at 80%, they have to agree on who the nodes are going to be, who's going to be a validator on the network, okay? So the question is with CBDCs then, if a government makes it, then who's the government going to pick to validate the transactions? If they want to have a closed, network or something, so it gets a little more on a complicated end. Do the banks do it? But then the banks are private, but the government makes the crypto, so it becomes an interesting situation. And what they're kind of saying is that each country and so forth really is going to have to determine this, but globally, we're really going to have to determine this. That's why the World Economic Forum is kind of getting involved, and they're kind of saying, they're bringing up the question, about who's going to be validating these transactions. And if it's, do we trust Russia? Do we trust China? Does anybody trust anybody? So if it's decentralized, here's why it's going to be the XRP ledger. And this is just my opinion, right? It's going to be the XRP ledger because the World Wide Web owns it. Okay, so no particular country owns it. And it's already decentralized, so you don't have to worry about some other country and are they going to cheat us? And it's the nodes, and the nodes are the people that do all this. The nodes have to agree on getting more nodes and who they are. So just always remember, if a government creates a CBDC, they could run it on the XRP ledger because it's already belongs to the world in no particular country, okay? So that eliminates you having to trust the other person. The nodes are actually the ones have 80% of the power in determining what goes on with that. All the nodes. Heather Hatley. Almost on page 11. The dilemma is digital ledger technology and a decentralized nodes means more transparency. What is really going on the ledger? Banks don't want stuff shown. See, banks kind of want some personal privacy, right? Banks might only want other banks as nodes, not the general population. So here's where I don't know. I know Ripple has that private ledger. Maybe that is used just for wholesale. And maybe it's used just for banks in countries, maybe, right? Let's say Russia wants to send China some money or something. They're going to use maybe this private ledger with nodes. And so maybe they are all, I don't know how all that's going down because they never really got into this in the article. They just raised the question and tell us banks want privacy. So, but that's all I'm going to get into in that, because then we're going to start getting into way too many questions. Page 11. Wholesale CBDC in cross-border interbank securities transaction. Oh, whoa. So here's the title of this one. This one is all the money. That's why I had to have a whoa moment. Listen to this. Wholesale CBDC in cross-border interbank securities. That means all the money. Securities, transactions, and fund transactions. Wholesale CBDC are programmable. They can support derivatives. Oh my God. See, that's all the money right there. That's not no $100 XRP. David Schwartz, not my words. David Schwartz, yeah, deep stuff, says Paul Rados. David Schwartz was in a question and answer somewhere, either online or in a forum in the real world. Somebody asked about the price of XRP and how much would it have to be to move stuff. Here's what he said, and I reported this on my show probably a month ago or something. David Schwartz said, well, let's say it's $10,000. I mean, he just comes out with that number, right? Let's say it's, he didn't say, let's say, $100. And no, David Schwartz comes straight out and says, I know he's just giving an example. The example's pretty high. But he said, let's say $10,000. I'm like, what? But he helped develop the XRP ledger. David Schwartz knows. He's not fucking stupid. He probably started off with 10,000. Maybe that's where it starts off with us, everybody. I don't know. I'm just telling you what David Schwartz said. I do know that if you throw in, like I'm saying right here, derivatives, securities, and all, it's not going to be no 10. And then when you tokenize all the land in the world, you're looking at 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $100,000 XRP. Okay? That's why he started off with 10,000. He didn't start off with $20, did he? No, he starts off, David Schwartz starts off with $10,000. He did that because I'll bet you it's going to like 100 grand, maybe more. Okay, I don't know. It says wholesale CBDC, they are programmable. So we own XRP. And you guys own other stuff too. So now I'm having I'm going to stop for a second and think just real quick so I can process it. I'm going to move on. So XRP is programmable. At least that's what they're saying. Wholesale CBDCs are programmable. They're not saying XRP necessarily, but then again, the developers, I've heard Ripple developers say XRP was designed for wholesale. Didn't they say that? Yep, they did. And they said they allowed the retail, which is us, to test it out. They said that. But they said our true purpose, and we know Ripple's making CBDCs for the country of Palau and these other places. So I don't know. Part of me feels maybe the XRP is programmable. Wholesale, digital, maybe that's what it is. XRP is a wholesale programmable CBDC. That in a way would kind of suck. I don't want to start talking about this too much because I'm not answering questions. We'll clip the whole, what if they program? I'm not answering those questions. I'm just going over what's going on in my head. So these are just some things to consider. The Monetary Authority of Singapore already tested digital ledger technology for derivatives and instant settlement. Oh, they did. That's what it says here, huh? Page 11. It says the Monetary Authority of Singapore already tested digital ledger technology for derivatives. That means they know it's XRP can move all the money. And we also know that in Singapore, they authorized Tranglo, which is a Ripple partner. They authorized Tranglo to be in Singapore and do what it's got to do with XRP. Okay, that's a big deal right there. And this was done in 2019. 3 years ago, everybody, Singapore tested through Tranglo XRP for the use case of a CBDC to move derivatives for instant settlement. Oh my God, that's enormous right there. Oh, interesting. The Bank of Canada is mentioned here as doing this also. And let's think about Canada. Well, the Ripple Liquidity Hub is there. Canada already knows all this stuff, okay? They're pretending like they don't. You got the European Central Bank. Also, it says tested for derivatives. We already know Ripple's in the European Central Bank, helping them with the digital euro. They're partners already. The Bank of Japan's already done this test with derivatives. They know it can move billions and trillions. SBI Holdings is in Japan. We know now that Japan linked up with Thailand as a Ripple partner. I mean, I'm telling you, like, this is all done. With this area, they already tested it. They don't need to test it. They already know that this stuff works. Now it's on page 11. We're still on page 11. It says, and they used smart contracts to do all this. My opinion, the codius implementation, I went over codius like last week, and then about 2 or 3 months ago. The codius implementation with smart oracles, just like my show yesterday was saying, or the day before, can be used to be automated, transparent escrow accounts, reduce the need for a clearinghouse. So they're moving derivatives using codius and smart oracles like I've gone over. No other show has been going over that stuff. In my opinion, though, they're using the codius and the smart contracts to do all this. And it's working brilliantly. That's page 2. And what I'm going to do is end it with that. Because it seems like each one of these front and backs is taking me 30 minutes. And we're at about 28 minutes right now. And I can't do this shit for another 30 minutes. My brain's going to get fried. It's too much information. So what I'm going to do is hold it off there. Have a little Paul Rados, like, really, I'm so over this lawsuit. You guys, we are seeing right now, from what I'm reading, that they already know, okay? They already know it works. What they're trying to do is just get these countries to do the damn thing and use it, okay? Nice work, man. And what we're seeing here, for what I've read over the past 1 hour, my 2 different pieces of paper, is that they're setting up the world for central bank digital currencies. We don't know. Some governments, you know what? I'll tell you what. Some governments might make their own, but it's like reinventing the fucking wheel. Okay. I say this, and this is just guessing, me again. Paul Rados, thanks for your donation, channel. Paul is learning. Again, I'm saying that some countries are going to make their own, okay, CBDCs. But here's the problem. Let's talk about the good old BRICS nations and how they may or may not be on the XRP ledger. There's some talk that they are, and then they're not. But look, let's say the Chinese digital yuan. Is the Chinese blockchain interoperable? Answer no. Let's speak about Russia. Is the Russian blockchain that they invented and their crypto, that specifically them centralized and all that shit, is it interoperable? No. Do they have a DEX, a digital exchange in the, let's say, Russian digital ruble blockchain that they made? Do they have a digital exchange that can transform it to anything like pesos? No, they don't. Nobody has that shit except the three: XRP, XLM, and XDC. Why? Because they're all Ripple partners. Okay, they all started from Ripple. They were all like XDC, the R3 Hyperledger Core, whatever. All that shit came from Ripple. Jeb McCaleb was there from day one. He started Ripple. He left. I think while he might have still been there, I don't know exactly on this, but they were working with XDC, which is R3, and then Jeb kind of left at one point, started XLM, which is Stellar, but all those are all Jeb McCaleb. So those three have the digital exchange, like it's the same thing, like XRP and XLM. They both had 100 billion. With Stellar, they burned up 50 billion, but the numbers are the same. I'm probably willing to bet XDC has 100 billion. I don't know. VeChain's got 100 billion. I don't know what's with the number 100 billion, but just it keeps coming up. All right. So King L7 L King, thanks for your donation to the channel. Hopefully you're learning a lot. Write notes down, take these notes, because the brain can only handle so much. So what I'm seeing is that it's all going to have to be on the ledger. Now, some countries might want to create their own money, but I'll tell you what, will their crypto work on the ledger? I don't know. Maybe it will, but here's the problem though. What if country A doesn't want the Russian ruble? So they can get on the Russians' blockchain, but it doesn't have a decentralized exchange. And if I don't want a ruble, I'm not buying no shit from Russia or China or Brazil or India or South. What if I want to be able to pay with with American dollars to buy their shit? If they don't accept it and they don't have a digital converter, nobody's going to deal with these fucking countries, okay? So don't get all bent out of shape when China comes up with their digital money and so does Russia. And are people in China going to want to use rubles to buy shit in China? Hell no. Chinese want the digital yuan. They don't want to. Do you think the Chinese government is going to want Russian rubles? The people of China, no, they want a conversion. If they're, and I'm saying the BRICS nations, if they join together and get some kind of crypto shit going, Brazil is not going to want to just use the ruble. Brazil is going to want their money, correct? So is China. So we haven't really solved the problem, have we? No, we haven't. So that's why XRP is superior with XLM and XDC, because it has a digital exchange in it. It settles fast. It's not hackable. It's got nodes, on and on. So Vladimir can come up with whatever he wants. Okay? If countries don't want to have possession of a ruble and the Russian blockchain doesn't have a digital exchange, Vladimir Putin's out. It's not going to work. So that's why I'm not tripping on none of this stuff, okay? So now, if they are using Ripple, will the digital liquidity hub in Canada have on hand rubles, digital yuans? I don't know. That's the question. So, will it convert? I mean, they may try to use the XRP ledger and they can send rubles from Russia to rubles to China, but it doesn't have the exchange. It will not convert if the liquidity hub doesn't have that particular asset or token in its liquidity hub. That's where it doesn't work. So Ripple has to put into the digital exchange the ruble and the yuan. If they don't do that, Russia and China are shit out of luck. They're not using the exchange. So let me ask you something. The the XRP ledger is already in the possession of the World Wide Web Consortium. So that's like the road. But here's the thing. The digital exchange is in Canada, the liquidity hub. So if that hub doesn't have rubles and shit on it, then no one's going to be converting nothing with rubles. Got it? So they are testing out digital ledger tech with the English program. BRICS has admitted these things. I don't think they said Ripple outright. Yeah, they're all, look, the whole world's going to use the ledger. Okay. And if you're in Russia, you can send the ruble to America to those people that want it. What I'm saying is that what if I don't want the ruble? Oh, yeah. So that needs to go through the liquidity hub. And if the liquidity hub has countries that are on the terrorist list or whatever, they ain't putting their fucking money in the liquidity hub. So therefore, Russia can still send the ruble to those people that want rubles. Got it? The beauty of the digital exchange, the liquidity hub, is that if you're in Tijuana, you can send money to people in Barbados and it converts it. So if you're in Tijuana, you got rubles and you want to send the ruble to Barbados, you can do that on the ledger. You're just not going to get the exchange. Got it? So that's the point that I'm trying to make. And people in Canada don't want the ruble, they want the Canadian dollar. Especially if it starts going up and shit, they're not going to want somebody else's currency. So this is why the liquidity hub is crucial for terrorist countries. And this, yeah, Iran can send some other country its money, but there's going to be no conversion there. And I don't want Iranian money. I'd rather have right now American money. So that's where the digital exchange comes in. Yes, the BRICS nations are using the ledger. Okay, great. But they can only send their money to those that want their money. So that kind of goes against the whole digital exchange ledger thing with the liquidity hub. It converts stuff. Let's say I want to send my house on the ledger and send it to somebody else who has a Corvette or whatever. See what I'm saying? So you're going to be able to do these things in a liquidity hub because it's going to accommodate tokenization. But if your country's on that shit list or something, that particular token or maybe properties in Iran will not be on the liquidity hub or the digital exchange. So, it's a whole lot of stuff, man. This future stuff is really kind of weird. It's a numbers game. Okay. I think I'll hold off at that. That's good enough. Tomorrow, I'll look for news for the open program. For the members, we're going to keep going over liquidity, the CBDC. Like I said, I've got 3 pages, so we got probably enough. I mean, it depends on how fast this moves, but we're looking at a good 2 more programs. So tomorrow, which United States is Monday, so Tuesday and Wednesday in the United States, I'll pretty much wrap up the CBDC on Wednesday night. So what we'll have then is for the open show, it'll be open news. So whatever news I find like normal, I'll pick probably 3 articles or something, read that off in about 30 minutes, maybe 4 articles in 30 minutes. Then after that, we'll go right into continuing this for the members only. Okay, a ton of information, but you're watching the world unfold before your eyes. I've got a lot of cool stuff later. It'll mention specifically in here. XRP. You'll see. It's all going to be XRP, XLM, XDC. Hyperledger's mentioned in there. Retail CBDC. It's not Stellar's not mentioned, but Stellar will be. Everybody knows that's what the retail is for, not the The XRP is for wholesale. I already told you earlier. Ripple executives are telling us this. The XRP was designed for wholesale, not us. So what's retail? Well, that's going to be Stellar. And then when it mentions in there about the Hyperledger, that's the XDC, all right? Or R3, whatever you want to call it. All right, that's it. My throat's ready to go. I'll see y'all in tomorrow's show. Take care.